Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan. It's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
It's Friday, May 1st. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rich.
Have you guys noticed a shift in April? Like, we joke about how March was the longest month ever in the history of time. Somewhere in April, for me, all of a sudden, the days have accelerated. Like, it'll be Monday, and then all of a sudden, and it's Friday. Did you guys go through that in April, or no?
Yes, absolutely. This month just disappeared. I don't know where it all went. It all went into my PS4, and that's where all my time is. It's all logged there.
Not necessarily for me, but I'm still working. But everybody around me who's not working or working from home, doing limited work or whatever, they're all saying the same thing. They're like, Jesus fucking Christ. It wasn't yesterday, like the first week of lockdown? I'm going, no, it's been almost 2 months ago.
Which I guess it's good. You know, because, this is for me, this was week 7 of working from home. So next week's week 8. So, and the lockdown came, March 23rd? Yeah, so it's... Yeah.
Well, some Michiganders got to get out of their houses today. They got all dressed up in their fatigues.
This again.
They did their cosplay, these fucking limp dick assholes dressing up like macho men.
I'm with Rich from a couple weeks ago. If you get COVID and we find out you were here, you are last on the list for treatment.
Yeah, we have a special waiting room. It's where we used to put the smokers at the hospital. You can go sit there until the last ventilator is duct taped together. But it's ready for you.
But this one wasn't gridlock like the last one. This one was actually a mass of people together. How about you guys? I didn't see a lot of masks. I saw a few, but
there was a fair amount of masks, although I think mostly they were just there to either protect their identity or intimidate.
And then definitely no social distancing either.
Yeah.
So I told you guys.
Yeah, I mean, these fuckers are fully armed walking into the Michigan Capitol.
You should have gotten shot. That's one man's opinion. Me, not these two other guys with me. That you walk in the you storm the Capitol armed. If you take a bullet, I'm not feeling bad for you.
Well, imagine if they weren't white.
Oh, they'd be heroes then.
Would they be heroes? No, I'm saying, what if a bunch of non-white armed people stormed the Capitol? Would they even make it to the steps?
Oh, they'd be dead, but they'd be dead heroes.
They'd be martyrs. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's like what you just said. Like, well, they're wearing masks, but it's to intimidate and scare. All right, I'm sure there's a handful of people that are like that. And there's probably some people that are like, oh, maybe I should wear a mask, but I want to fucking protest because my president, my freedom. And it's like, oh, God, Jesus, whatever. This shit is just more fucking annoying than anything at this point. It's like, really? This is what we're going to keep doing here? What is this going to be, a once a week thing? Did these people not realize that everybody bitching about Antifa was because Antifa did stupid shit like this?
Yeah.
Let's have protests and block traffic and impede fucking emergency vehicles and put people's lives in some cases their lives, but more so their safety at risk, so we can make a point. And I mean, all they are is the only thing they haven't done is start destroying private property.
Right.
I mean, it's really, that's the only difference so far.
I sound like a broken record here, but what state do these people live? Do I miss the perch sirens every night? Am I asleep by the time those go off? Like, do I miss when the cops come around and knock on the door to make sure I'm inside? Am I asleep when that all happens?
I got off work awfully late one time within the last week, to the point where I did not see another car on the road on my drive home. And it's like a 10-minute drive. Like, nothing. No one was in gas stations, nothing. And so, yeah, I was out, I didn't get pulled over. I had nothing that you could see from the outside of my car declaring me an essential worker. Why didn't I get pulled over? Where's all this oppression that I keep hearing it's coming, that they're going through? It's not. They just don't want to be told what to fucking do. I get that, but you know what? Grow the fuck up. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Getting your way all the time is for babies, not adults.
I understand some of the points they're making, but at the same time, I am like partial to this taking an oxygen regularly thing. Call me crazy.
Well, right. Look, when somebody addresses the issue of freedom, I'm listening. I don't dismiss it because of who they are. Just because somebody votes for Trump and they're talking about freedom, I'm not shutting them out or saying that they don't deserve it. But we have a process for determining this. You say it's unconstitutional, okay? The majority of the state says that it is constitutional, so let's rule on it. And we got a ruling, right? We got a ruling today that said that no, it's not unconstitutional to ask people to stay at home during a pandemic. And is that going to stop this? I severely doubt it. I mean, we have a system to put this question to rest, right?
You would think.
I mean, no, we do. It's not going to matter anything to these people.
You know what my problem is with my main problem with the protesters is that I've yet to hear one of them give a reasonable, logical, well thought out, pragmatic answer to what are you protesting? What exactly do you think you're losing? Anytime that question's asked, now it might just be they're showing the dumbest of the dumb, which is very possible. But anytime I hear that question asked and it's put to one of these people, out spews InfoWars level conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It's if one of them would
this is the first step to them controlling us. They just they're going to make this lockdown permanent.
Yep.
How does that make sense?
Why can I go to Walmart but not church? It's part of the secular deep state. Their plan to erase church and God from American. Just shut up, dude.
Or Walmart sells food and the church doesn't. Pretty cut and dry.
Walmart provides a tangible service, and the church doesn't. So, my church gives away food that they buy with your tithings and tax subsidies. Yes. So, thank you for giving me the food I've already paid you for, assholes. I basically handed you the money to do the grocery shopping, and you got to keep your cut. That's what I said, man. It's like the mob. But anyways, if I heard one of them say, I'm honestly worried about the fact that they are in a understandable situation telling us we have to curb, have to hit pause, pump the brakes on a few civil liberties until we get through the end of this. To me, this is a reasonable and logical fear to have at this point. People who take power through whatever situation very rarely want to give it back when that situation's over with.
That's true.
That, to me, is a valid reason to be out there protesting, properly taking the precautions you need to take, not waving the fucking rebel flag north of the Mason-Dixon border. And do you really? I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm a gun guy. What the fuck do I need to carry a gun into the state fucking Capitol building? what am I thinking is going to happen? Anything good? It's like going to the ATM at 3 a.m. You're not taking that money out to pay your fucking student loans off. It's to get another 8-ball.
And we need to get a dictionary for half of these people. There's a big difference between being asked and being told. We've been asked the entire time to do all of this. There's no legal repercussions. There's no $1,000 fines like there's been in New York City. No, there's no, like I said, there's no cops roaming the streets. You're not being pulled over if they don't see a grocery bag in the back of your car. Like, this isn't tyranny, folks. Tyranny would be fucking martial law.
And people are out there, right? People are doing everything. Yeah, I went to the corner CVS to get some stuff. And I went there early in the afternoon because I wanted to get there when nobody was going to be there. And the place was like practically empty. And I was chatting up the girl at the checkout, and she's like, "Oh, this place at 4 o'clock just blows up. We can barely handle the traffic. All the essential workers getting off of work, they all stop here." And at a CVS, like they're just doing their normal shopping, right? They're stopping at CVS on the way home from work like they would any other time, not stocking up so that they don't have to stop there constantly.
Well, I will say this. It is depending if you work first shift and you're an essential worker, I'm making an assumption here, by the way, that it's probably a little bit easier to deal with. If you get off later like I do, man, there ain't shit open no more.
Oh, right, yeah.
You're doing your quote-unquote grocery shopping at Speedway or 7-Eleven. That's it. That is all. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm okay with it, but it's just like, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, it's like they roll up the streets.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
It's like we all live in a small town now.
Yes. And Westland's not a small town.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
no,
I don't get like the dress up though. Like there were people out there armed and in camo at previous protests, but there are a lot more at this one.
Yeah, and motherfuckers playing dress up like it's 1776. Get the fuck out of here. Let's get you a history book to go with your dictionary.
You think these are the same people that were wearing the mini pearl hats with the tea bags hanging off of them?
Probably.
And wearing the tea party?
Probably.
Yeah.
Same DNA. Politically, anyway.
By the way, anyone listening who knows who Minnie Pearl is either had a grandfather who watched Hee Haw or is old. I'm just saying.
Watch me some Hee Haw.
Yes. Well, when we only had 3 channels, it was kind of like, yeah, eventually you're gonna sit there and watch it at least once.
3 channels and no internet porn. Come on, the Hee Haw Honeys.
That was the closest thing to porn as we had.
That's it. It didn't give you a special feeling in your dungarees?
Oh, Christ. Anyways, yeah, I don't get the dress up part. I don't get the fucking bringing guns part. I don't get the waving the fucking stars and bars. I don't get to going with no type of protection. Even though, okay, look, let's be honest, it's a lose-lose situation if you're out there protesting. You're going to be made fun of. It's just one of those things. It's just going to happen. It's like riding a moped or owning a PT Cruiser. People are going to make fun of you. It's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
I mean, just get over it. But, take some precautions. What's it going to hurt to put a fucking N95 mask on? What's it going to hurt?
What's it going to hurt to sit down and come up with a well-reasoned response when somebody approaches you and asks what you're protesting? And not just throw on your fatigues and show up and scream.
What's it going to hurt to sit home for 13 more fucking days? It's already been, It's already been 8 weeks. What's 2 more? I was telling somebody the other day, I'd rather do this on the front end than be in the house till fucking August. I'd rather stay home a couple more weeks now in May than have to be in my fucking house until August. Think ahead, people. I don't know, this crowd probably has never been accused of being too pragmatic. Just saying.
So I was reading about the court decision in Michigan. This is from a story in Newsweek, saying that the plaintiffs in the case claimed that the, quote, mandatory quarantine, unquote, along with interstate travel restrictions listed in an earlier version of the order, violated their rights to both procedural due process and substantive due process. Said court claims Judge Christopher M. Murray, but those liberty interests are, and always have been, subject to society's interests. Society being our fellow residents. They, our fellow residents, have an interest to remain unharmed by a highly communicable and deadly virus. And since the state entered the Union in 1837, it has had the broad power to act for the public health of the entire state when faced with a public crisis. Period.
That was a legal way of saying it ain't all about you. That's what
yeah.
Ain't all about you, sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly. That's legalese for that. It's not all about you, shithead. There are 9 million other of us. 9 million, you know. Anyway. You know, I told you guys a pre-show chat. Whitmer loves playing, you know, she's done it twice with, hey, if you're mad, be mad at me. Let's take the parent thing to the next level. Every protest, all right, another 2 weeks. All right, we go to Memorial Day weekend now. Let's do another protest. Up 4th of July. Let's keep going.
Yeah. I mean, that's not practical. I would go out there with applications like, hey, we've got some meat processing plants and some nursing homes that need staffed. I mean, if you people want to go out and work, well, you can do it. You can leave your house every fucking day and go process meat, go work with the elderly, go clean up at a hospital. There's stuff you can do.
Yeah,
you can be more productive with your time than fucking cosplaying as fucking Call of Duty.
Go full Cuomo on them. Hey, yeah.
I'll tell you what. There's
Instacart's
a whole lot of drivers. Yeah. Whole lot of driver jobs have opened up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you can work in restaurants. You can deliver food.
Yep. You work for Uber Eats. You can work for Instacart.
Yeah. You want to get out the house. You want to be able to drive and get out the house. There you go. This is perfect for you. Come do it.
There. That gets you, quote unquote, back to work.
But we know it's not about that. It's what it's really about is, if I'm forced to sit at home, I want this to be a vacation where I can do whatever the fuck I want. Well, and the problem is that this isn't a paid vacation that your job gave you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, already we have. I mean, look what's open back up. Golf courses. You can go boating. You can go to parks. All right. I mean, what honestly are you being stopped from doing?
I'm a golfing on
that
Sunday.
You want to do.
I wanted to see the new Trolls movie in the theaters like it was supposed to.
Yeah, how you were supposed to see it.
You know what? Now I'm going to say this. This is somebody, if you're listening and you live in an area of, well, the world, I guess, that you can do this year round. I'm predicting with everything that's going on, there's going to be a big fucking surge in drive-in movie theaters. I guarantee.
Depends where. Whitmer shut one down today. There was a plan to open one up, and she killed it. Said it violated the social distancing order.
Where was it going to?
How?
One of the last standing drive-ins in Michigan, in the U.S., I believe, is in Dearborn.
She said it violated her gathering rule.
Well,
so is sitting in traffic at a red light violating the gathering rule?
I think it might. I didn't read it, but if I had to guess, it might have probably something to do more with like the concession stands and the bathroom
too. Yeah, well, you have you sit in your car, but if you got to take a whiz or get some popcorn, you got to go wait in line.
Well, I'm talking about first of all, once we're done with this, like, and we slowly start rolling open stuff. One, people probably be more comfortable sitting in their car. Yeah. Two, if you're a forward-thinking businessman and you're sitting here and you got some money, Why not buy an old drive-in, add a fucking drive-through for the concessions, plus a walk-up to where they never enter a building? You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of make it like a Dairy Queen or something, and just go to town. The only reason I'd say it would suck to do it here in a state like Michigan is you ain't doing shit in the winter for the most part.
Yeah.
That's what would suck. But Florida, even like Georgia, Southern Tennessee, places with that type of climate, fuck yeah. I think it'd be a good business decision. Because people are going to get sketched out, and it's going to be weird the first time you walk into a enclosed movie theater and there's like 2 seats, 6 feet, 2 seats, 6 feet, 2 feet, 6 feet.
Right.
Just anywhere.
I don't know how that works.
Anywhere with crowds. It's the other day. I went out and I was going to stop at. I had to stop on the corner, and I was going to go to 7-Eleven, and there's too many cars in the parking lot for me. I went nope, and I went across the street. Due to the simple fact that almost all the spaces were full, I'm like, I'm not going in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I pull up and I look into a gas station or something and it's fucking nuts to butts, I turn around and fucking go find another gas station.
Yeah.
Like, why risk it? Why risk it? And I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I really hope that drive-ins come back, 'cause I love them. I remember seeing Ghostbusters at the drive-in as a kid. I saw a double feature of E.T. and Top Secret, which I don't know why that, but all the way up to seeing Eyes Wide Shut at a drive-in theater.
Damn, that's only like 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Only. It's all relative, folks, but you get my point. Like, even 21 years ago, drive-in theaters in Michigan were a rare
especially
fucking sight.
Like now as an adult, like I want to go see, the new Avengers movie in the theater, but if I can see it in my car and fucking clam bake that thing, hell yeah.
And you don't have to hook the shit on your window. It's all through your fucking stereo system. So if you got a good stereo,
bring your own snacks.
That was the whole point. Yeah,
that was in the trunk.
No, it's seriously
old school.
That's how many times either your family was this family or us as kids knew someone who had one of the station wagons where the back seat faced out the back window, and they'd load up neighborhood kids and go to the fucking drive-in, and like you're supposed to be looking forward and watching The Secret of Nim, but you're really over here watching Debbie Does Dallas Part 6, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like Porky's The Revenge, you know what I'm saying? Some shit, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a full-on titty right there. You're all 5 years old.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Hear from me, four-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Johnson, on the Data Brilliant podcast from data leaders Click. I talked to Click's Joe Dos Santos about the role of data in my running career and in my business today as I help prepare future athletes. Tune in to hear us as we discuss the psychological and personal qualities needed to be a champion and how data can help you recognize what it takes to win. Search Data Brilliant on your preferred podcast platform to listen now.
Of all the streaming services out there, only one is different. Discovery Plus. It's the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes of food, love, true crime, home, from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Yes! With stars like Chip and Jo, an exclusive new series from 90 Day Fiancé, all in one place. Bam! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
Another thing, what about the drive-up restaurants? You know, we still have some Sonics and stuff like that. There's some A&Ws that still use the old format, but right down the street from me, practically at the end of my block, is an old 50s looking diner with the spots that you can pull up and they just come out to you, probably on roller skates.
See, I don't see those thriving so much because there's no barrier other than your car window. Whereas,
but you can throw up some barriers pretty easily, and it's a lot easier to social distance in a situation like that versus a traditional restaurant.
Because I thought I was having when we started this section of the conversation was, restaurants, coming out of this, you're going to see a lot more drive-through windows added to places that never had drive-throughs before, and you're going to see a lot of places have curbside's going to continue. Where some places started it for this, you can see a lot of places it's not going to go away.
Yeah, well, one of the big chicken restaurants, it was like Chick-fil-A or maybe Popeyes or one of those, was they're actually offering meal kits now. So instead of buying prepared food, you just buy all the shit and you can make it at home.
Well, I don't know about other states, but here in Michigan, the reason they do that is if they don't cook it, they can sell it to you on a bridge card.
Yes, it's considered groceries.
Interesting.
Yeah. However, though, you also have to, I know in Missouri they did this, they probably did it in Michigan, you also have to change the laws, though, because you can't sell, like, unprepared food out of restaurants and all that crap. I know in Missouri they changed the law to help the not only the restaurant owners kind of keep some revenue going, but to help the food supply chains. Because I don't know if we talked about it on this show or not, but a lot of the food suppliers are stuck with all this product because they mainly service restaurants and not grocery stores. So a lot of the people that they were able to retool and repackage their stuff to be sold in grocery stores. But yeah, a lot of the things that we run into with food suppliers is they're just stuck with all this stuff they can't sell. And when you change the laws like that, then now the restaurants can still take the food, they can still sell it, and everyone still gets some revenue flowing into their business. I digress, though.
I'll say that I'll predict that as far as delivery goes, this no contact delivery, even if we come up with a guaranteed one shot immunization, you'll never get COVID, it is eradicated from the face of the planet, there'll be places that'll still do this because customers will demand it because we are an antisocial society. I think fucking a delivery guy that I don't even have to answer the door for. Fuck yeah, why not?
Well, this has turned prepared food into Amazon, right? Just drop it off.
Oh, yeah. Big time. And I'm like, well, all right. You know what? It makes life a lot easier, and you know what you're dealing with right up front. Because, when you're taking the order, like, okay, well, you got to take your credit card information for a no contact and all that. And would you like to tip? Nope. Well, you get your food last.
Yeah, or guess whose food isn't staying in the hot bag the whole time? Yours.
But no, it just seems like a lot of people have really taken to it, and it's not necessarily because out of fear of catching the virus. It's just like putting in an online order instead of calling the place. I know a lot of people that would rather just put in an online order these days.
It's easier. If someone else does it, you don't have to deal with a moron. Again, I think I've told you guys this story.
Yeah.
When I go to fast food, everything is a special order for me because I am married to a vegetarian. You tell an average person at a McDonald's on the other side of that speaker, let me get a bun with pickles and cheese on it. They have to go get their manager. They're not sure they can do this. We don't do that. Hold on, sir. Blah, blah. No, you do it on the app. Done. Nobody questions you because you just pretty much take a cheeseburger, go minus the meat. Here you go. Everything's right. Nobody stares at you.
Right, because you get to plug it into the screen exactly how you want it. And then when your $10 an hour worker looks at the screen, they just go, that's what the computer says. I just do what the computer says.
Yes.
No, I'm with you there because 99 times out of 100, if I go to White Castle and I haven't put the order in already for a pickup, they're going to get my order wrong. And it is infuriating. Because you put ketchup on a White Castle, I'll throw that motherfucker out the window before I'll eat it.
Who the fuck does? What war criminal puts ketchup on a White Castle?
Are you kidding me? No, it's got to have mustard and ketchup on it. I'm pissed off that it's not standard, that you have to ask for them to put mustard and ketchup on it, because without it, the shit's fucking dry.
I understand. The mustard is standard. Ketchup?
Yes. On a White Castle?
On a White Castle?
No.
Yeah.
That's like putting ketchup on a coney.
Well, okay,
exactly.
So I'll meet you halfway and we'll say mustard should be standard. But if I just order a White Castle burger, they're going to give me a burger that has the patty, cheese, some onions.
Oh, yeah, you have to say everything.
Right. But you should, like a standard burger should have pickles and mustard as well. If you don't want it, ask for it without. Who's eating their White Castle with no fucking pickle?
It's the same.
Surprised.
The same asshole puts ketchup on it.
Kind of walked into that one.
Well, here's the worst part about this, and it's evident from all the types of food that we're talking about. The fast food restaurants, the worst type of food that we have for our health, and I'm not saying don't eat it, everyone should indulge in fast food every once in a while, but to have it as a regular basis for your diet is not healthy. And those are the restaurants that are going to be most easily adapted to this, with the contactless and the drive-ins and ordering online and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge sector of the more upscale dining, or just fucking going out to a ram's horn, that I don't know how they're going to deal with this. There was a Texas restaurant owner that was interviewed on Fox News this week. And I understand his concerns, definitely. I don't really understand where he's coming from on this, because he's saying that for this to work for him, for his restaurant, he needs everything to open up 100%. The slow rollout that even our president has pushed for how to reopen the economy doesn't work for him, because as soon as he opens his doors, he's got to have 100% staff. So if he doesn't have 100% capacity, then he doesn't make enough money to stay open.
Oh, well, then you get your... Oh, then the free market takes care of you. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Those who don't adapt die. And that is the biggest strength of the free market. Although, obviously we make exceptions for, big sweeping events like a pandemic. And we don't necessarily want anyone to fail because of that. But if you're going to assume that everything is going to go back to quote unquote normal, and you're going to base your business on that, like the only way that we can operate is if we just operate like we never had a pandemic, then not only do I not think that that's a good business plan to refuse to adapt, but also I think your customers are going to catch on and just not eat at your restaurant.
Yeah. If there's a free market,
Right?
we'll take care of this in more ways than one.
Exactly.
I do have to say, it is a nice little mini sociological experiment to just sit and witness working at a restaurant right now, and to see the just the spectrum of people, from the people who are terrified to touch anything. I mean, people come in and they got their hands inside their long sleeve shirts and they're opening everything with their the end of their shirts, and they won't touch anything that you hand them, et cetera, to the people who walk in just cavalier as fuck, don't care, this is bullshit, I've had the flu before, I ain't scared of this. I'm like, okay.
What's like the people
right.
you talk about, their hands inside their shirts and stuff? I just want to, this ain't for you. Just turn around.
Well, right. Okay, so Superman he's not concerned about bullets, right? Because he's bulletproof. What he is concerned about is when those bullets ricochet off of him, where do they go? Because they could easily hit an innocent citizen. And that's the situation. We should all be Superman. Like, if you're not scared yourself of dying of this, if you think that you're healthy enough and that this isn't going to affect you, and that you have a very low percentage chance of dying or being hospitalized, and that may be true, then be Superman. Great. You should be on the front lines of helping us with this. Go work at a fucking meat processing plant or a nursery home or some shit. But just be aware that just because it doesn't kill you doesn't mean that it's not going to spread it to somebody else that it will kill. And you might actually care about that person.
Yeah, and I will say that there's a handful of regulars who are shut-ins, whether it's due to their health or they just don't have anybody. And one of the guys I've noticed over the last, this guy must, if I had this guy's luck, I'd never buy a lottery ticket or a green banana. Let's put it this way. I mean, because about 3 months ago, maybe 2-3 weeks before this shit started, he started going through chemo. And when he orders, I almost want to just, toss his food like a football to him from the street. Dude, I don't even want to come near you right now, man. God forbid I got some shit on me that, even though I'm gloved and masked up and I, change gloves out with and keep up on my mask and shit. I would, if I went back in a week or two and he was sick with it, I would be like, oh man, did I kill this guy?
Rich, take a page from the Ninja Turtles. You got to get the pizza thrower. You get the, they had the big
the pizza launcher.
They had the big VW looking van with the turret on top, and it shot pizzas out. The big question being, were they cold pizzas or hot pizzas? But you just get a catapult. That a trebuchet is easy to design. You can just put that on top of your car. Put the logo for the company and everything on it, just like a regular topper, but it also fucking launches a pizza city block.
If I'm putting anything that could be
a little
used
parachute, we don't want to land it upside down.
If I'm putting anything that could be used remotely as a weapon on my car, it's a 50 caliber machine gun to get people the fuck out my way, and I'm putting it right on my hood.
It's 2021 in America, the year of the pizza wars. You're all driving around like fucking Mad Max. You got people hanging off your car, throwing chains at each other.
That would
trying to get to the pizza delivery first.
That would be all. Got some dude playing fucking metal guitar, hanging from chains on the front.
Who invited Charlize Theron?
I got Charlize Theron as my co-driver. That's when I realized, why am I delivering a pizza? And we go fuck,
Right. Right. And you finally get to the destination to deliver the pizza, and nobody's there because they all died. And you're like, what do we do now? Now we go back home.
No, wait. Now we fuck again and then eat the pizza.
Trip.
Yeah.
No, you just hear Lord Humongous. Just leave the pizza on the porch. Just leave. Just go. Leave. Drop the pizza and walk away. See, now that would almost make my job bearable. I'm just saying. I'd be dead within 5 minutes, but man, it'd be a glorious 5 minutes. I'm just telling you,
I'm thinking this is going to make a good board game. I'm going to put together a concept here. Pizza Wars.
Well, when you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be from the cartoon. Because the comic book was actually a lot more serious. At least when I was reading it.
There was no mention of pizza in the comics.
See, now I'm thinking about the movie where Michelangelo was hiding in the sewer to get his pizza for free.
How does that work?
No, just it was back when Domino's had their 30 minutes or it's free, and it was opening scene of the first movie.
So the delivery was late.
Well, the guy couldn't find him because he was in the sewer. And he was like, "Oh, it's late. Shit's free."
By the way, folks, if you think that is a policy that is still in effect for pizza places, stop getting your information from bad 90s children's movies. Yeah. I'm just telling you. That's not reality
That shit is long gone. And I believe once Domino's had to pay insurance premiums through the roof That shit went away.
Yeah, it didn't last too long. I mean, not in practicality, but in this public consciousness, yeah, we were like 30 minutes or it's free for like 2 decades after that.
Oh, I still get it. I still get it from time to time. I just got it a couple weeks ago. I was like, no. And I just laughed at him. I'm like, no.
Wrong company,
he's like,
wrong decade, fool.
He's like, are you sure? I think I saw it on TV. I'm like, were you watching TV from 1988?
Yeah, you know, time machine?
Was it on one of your VHS? Or did you were you rewatching the episodes of MASH that you recorded off the television?
Yeah.
Yeah, was there a thing called a Noid in the commercial? Because if there was, that's an old fucking commercial. Okay, we're talking when G.I. Joe was in first run, homeboy. So it's been a while. Yeah. Well, I mean, thinking about it, like normal restaurants, it won't be. It'll be strange, the experience of dining in them. But putting tables 6 feet apart. Like disposable menus. Yeah. Waiter wearing gloves. The mask is gonna. At some point, we're all gonna have to. We're just gonna be like, okay, it's normal to see people in masks now, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone's over feeling silly walking around in it.
Ooh, and here's one. Sitting at the counter. That's probably over, right?
Yeah, that sucks because when I go to a packed restaurant, I'm that guy that goes. Especially if I'm alone, I'm like, I'll just sit at the bar.
Yeah.
I ain't waiting for 2 hours for a table.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there's no more sitting at the bar. How do you go to the bar on the weekend? I mean, we're 40, we don't do that anymore.
Well, listen, we'll adapt like anything. This is the age of millennials and Gen X and Gen Z or whatever generation is killing whatever it is that you liked before, and it never does really kill it, right? It just changes it. Streaming didn't kill the music industry. It just changed it. And we talk about automated cars. Oh, it's going to kill the automotive industry. No, they're going to make automated cars, and then they're going to make high-end manual drive cars for people who still want to do that. And, maybe Ramshorn doesn't, or Denny's doesn't have a spot anymore. It's just fast food or upscale. And so you go to a place and, yeah, everything's spaced out and it's, you're not crowded in there and you're not waiting for a table constantly. And it probably will be more expensive, but it'll be more exclusive, right? I mean, you'll feel like the guy who bought the place out.
Man, all I know is if it becomes impossible to get a moons over my hammy, I'm fucking somebody up. Seriously, Denny's are getting hard enough to find in Michigan, anyways. But like, we can't. No.
See, how about on the news? Hold up in the Denny's with an AR-15.
Where's my fucking moon over my hammy?
God damn it! I will kill everyone in here if I don't get a moon over my hammy.
Try my Grand Slam breakfast from my cold dead hands.
And just like in Tommy Boy, there'll be like someone I work with going, "Oh, I work with him. I thought we were watching cartoons."
Yeah. Find the
movie. Oh, Christ. Well, I mean, speaking of these businesses, I mean, I guess I don't expect anything better from a sports league because they solely exist to make business, to make money. That's it. That's what we're here for, folks. And everything else is what you perceive sports to be when it's really just the bottom line. How much cash are we taking in? But these, we had the payroll protection.
The payroll protection program.
Thank you. The 3P. And it turns out huge sports franchise I don't know, Los Angeles Lakers took almost $5 million from out of that.
Yeah.
From some small business. Why?
Because I can tell you guys why. It's not the sexy answer, but it's I do this to my wife all the time. Do you want the real answer or is this like a hypothetical? It's too easy to get that money. I've been dealing with this with my day job. It is really, 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 really easy to get PPP money. Like I said, if I was less ethical, I would have applied to get some for Christopher Media.
Here's the problem, though, is that I've listened to interviews and watched YouTube clips and read articles about real small businessmen and women who weren't able to get through to the banks, or the banks put them in a waiting list with all these big, corporations over top of them in line. And it's like, well, wait a minute, who's deciding where you go in line? And I mean, let's be honest. Of course, these banks would rather deal with McDonald's than deal with McDowell's, because McDonald's has got fucking a line of credit that is ridiculous.
Just so you know that there were banks, Wells Fargo being one of them. We believe we talked about it, that were stacking these in order of banks weren't making tons of money off these, but they were making money off of the amount of money they were giving out. And
they were part of the PPP is that they have to take these applications in order of when they applied, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be first come, first served.
And they ignored that rule and put it in order of what would be most profitable to their bottom line.
Yes, they stacked them in the order of how much fees we'll make. Which can't do
there's been a lot of stories about, corporations and organizations that seem like they don't need the money that have been getting government assistance. Not all of them are straightforward. Like we talked about Harvard and other schools that were offered money or were eligible for money, and just that turned into the rumor that Harvard had taken money when they never actually took it. And when they were called out publicly, they're like, "No, we're not going to take this money."
Actually,
the Lakers did take the money, but they gave it back.
Actually, I dug deeper on Harvard. Harvard was going to take it, and they decided against it because of the public outcry. They were full on board. They were going to take it.
Right, but they didn't. Yeah, no. All I'm saying is that it was available to them, and they didn't take it for whatever reason. They didn't actually take it.
Well, to me, the point is that someone pointed out in the media, look what the LA Lakers are doing, and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, wait, we did? That's crazy."
See, now,
sorry, we must have misfiled or something.
I'll come clean here, though. I was advising people, like, there were some people I was advising, like, dude, you have to get this. You will not see June if you don't get this. And there were some people that were telling me everything's fine, I don't need it. I was telling them, look, government's giving you free money. You don't know what the fall's going to be like. You could be just fine to make it through the summer, and then the bottom drops out in November, and then we get locked down times 10. So it's real easy to get this money, and the other part is it's real easy to get it it's real easy to essentially turn it into a grant. If you are one of those businesses that has enough liquid laying around to get through this, the guidelines for this to essentially turn into a grant is just stay in business and keep the same number of people, keep the same head count on your payroll. Doesn't even have to be the same heads, just the same head count. So I think that a couple weeks into this, I got to defer to don't hate the players, hate the game on this. We ran into just accountants seeing a lot of loopholes that just went, hey, why not? Let's see what we can do.
Well, this reminds me of the situation when we went to war in Iraq, right? And we just shuttled money over there, just stacks of cash, right? We don't know where most of that money went. And that's a bad thing. I get that. But does that mean that we shouldn't have sent money over? We wouldn't have got anywhere if we didn't send any money. And in the same situation here, the government rushed to get money out to the public and to businesses. And in that rush, you're going to have you're going to have gaps in the system. You're going to have loopholes. And people will definitely take advantage of those. Now, would it have been better to go through a longer process of tightening up all the holes in the system and therefore putting it off for another couple weeks or possibly even a month? I don't think so. I think they made the right call, and you're just going to have situations like this. And in the bigger situation, like the Lakers, like Harvard, just giving some sunlight to these stories is working. Harvard probably would have taken the money if they didn't hit the papers. Lakers would have kept that money if they weren't called out in the papers.
Yeah, sometimes shame works, kids.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to
pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
So I feel you, Rich. I'm not trying to argue against you. But I just can't. I can't blame the Lakers for taking money that was offered.
Yeah, Rich.
That was available to them.
I also agree with you. Tell my wife. You asked why. I told you why. That's how it's happening.
My problem is that the attitude that some people have of, well, whatever. They're just like you guys said. They don't hate the player, hate the game. We don't make the rules. We just follow them. And if they leave these loopholes, oh well. That they feel it's okay for like Amazon to not pay fucking taxes,
right?
Because they exploit loopholes. But if their neighbor Joe Smith next door is collecting more in unemployment because of the loophole than he was when he was actually working, well, that's bullshit. That's not fair. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, that just turns into hating. Good old-fashioned hating. You're just mad that this guy's working the system and you're not.
Just envy, right?
Yeah. Now living with an 8 and a 5-year-old, I realize how many 40-year-olds think just like an 8 and a 5-year-old. Why does he get a cookie but I don't? I want a cookie. Give me a cookie. I'll cry until you do it. I'll throw a shit fit. Just shut the fuck up. Oh, my God. Beatings for everybody.
I'm purposely unfair to my kids in certain situations. Builds character.
I used to get it when I was the manager, and I talked to someone about being late. Well, you're late. Are you my boss? No, it's not about me. It's about you being late every day this week. Yeah, you did it. We're not talking about me. It's that. Yes, Rich, I completely get it.
Get your own house in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the people, and that's the attitude that annoys me. Like, I get it, businesses like that, they have people on the payroll whose job it is to just comb the tax regulations, the laws in real time and find loopholes and ways for them to get money out of it. I get that. But if that's going to be okay, because the Lakers are your favorite team, or you like to use Amazon, or you are delusional and think you're a temporarily embarrassed millionaire here in the great country of America, then you're an idiot, in my opinion. Like you're an asshole. No, not an idiot. You're an asshole. You're the type of dickhead who goes to the fucking casino and roots for the house.
Well, you want it both ways. That's really what you're getting at. Is you want to complain about one thing but let it slide with other things.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think those companies that are being greedy in this situation, that's going to stick to them, because this is just about every company is in a big company, nationwide company, is in a situation right now where you can either be the hero or you can be the villain. There's really no in between. Yep. You are either a COVID hero. And it's not always, it's not always correct. Like, everyone thinks that Amazon's now the hero because they're relying on them to, deliver a lot of essential goods directly to their house, and that's great. But Amazon still got the same shitty policies that they had before the virus. And trust me, I get it. I'm ordering more from Amazon now. I'm actually a Prime member again because I'm like, well, it only makes sense if I'm going to have all this shit shipped to me. Of course, I'm also without a car at the moment, so that's a factor. But yeah, I mean, you either deal with this correctly, or it's probably going to be a stain on your public perception for a long time coming.
Yep. There's a phrase I say all the time to the people I advise. Goodwill and bad will are immeasurable.
Yes. Absolutely. So anyone who is really gaming this system is going to be called out, because the press is sniffing out for it, the public is thirsty for these stories, and the government, while they don't have much oversight on it, is paying attention. And, they're not going to... That's why the Lakers are giving this money back. Not because we didn't really need the $4.6 million. I'm sure that it would have really helped in a situation right now where, I don't know what the Lakers I don't even know how it works as an organization or a company, but I'm sure they've had to lay people off.
Well, you have a lot of the athletes, and this is really cool of the athletes, I think, who are saying that, like, the vendors, the people that go up and down the stand selling shit, people who take tickets, they're like, I'm setting aside $250,000 of my salary to pay them as if we were still playing games. Most of those jobs, let's be honest, unless you work for the venue itself, are part-time. Like, if you work for Comerica Park and you only do events with the Tigers are sometimes out of town for 2 weeks at a stretch.
Mm-hmm. It's a part-time job. It's a seasonal part-time job.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's people that probably... One, really love the sport that are doing the job, and it's a way for them, they figure, to get paid to watch a sport they love or be at a sport they love. But also, too, most part-time seasonal workers are creative types of some sort, or, semi-retired people that can't afford to take a hit in their fucking paycheck because they don't have the savings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To fall back on.
And there's a lot of stories all over the U.S. of these happening, of people taking care of their own industries in ways that they might not have been really aware of before. There's plenty of comic book artists who, they're not getting any work right now. That there's a lot of people who are working for, like DC and Marvel, that have pencils down orders, meaning stop creating. You're not going to get paid for anything right now. And while, a comic book artist or a comic book writer might get paid a little bit more than the average person, they're not fucking rich. These guys aren't rich. And they're making sure that, hey, they understand that without these comic book shops, we don't make any money. So they're, organizing events, auctioning off drawings and original artwork and all this stuff to make sure that the people who are on the front lines of selling their product actually can stay in business.
Yeah. Right now, I'm starting to, if you have a passion for something that's like kind of a niche hobby or whatever, now is the time to start thinking about really supporting it. Like, especially, like, okay, like those game shops, like Pandemonium. Is that the one your son goes to, Pandemonium?
Yes, yeah, board games, role-playing games, that type of stuff.
Tabletop games and stuff. Yeah. Like I've been in the last 6 months, like, slowly dipping my toe into, like, the Warhammer 40K stuff, and like, I know they have gaming sessions there, and you can go and, like, kind of check it out, hang back, kind of basically, instead of walking in and being like, hi, I don't know anything about anything, and teach me everything, you just kind of learn on your own. Sit back. I was debating going to that place before this shit broke out for months. Now it's like, I wish I'd have fucking went. And I probably will go and spend some money if they reopen.
Yeah.
When this is done and over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've used those places before. I used to, role play at a comic book shop, a huge 2-story comic book shop that closed decades ago. Sadly, it was fucking awesome though. And I mean, go out, support the local shops. Believe me, Guitar Center is going to be fine. Okay,
or not. I mean, they probably weren't going to be fine before this, but whatever.
Well, what I'm saying is Guitar Center and Sweetwater are basically the same fucking thing with 2 different labels on it, right? Whereas Sweetwater's mailed.
No, Sweetwater's separate, but everything else that's a website that sells music instruments, yeah. Music 123, Musician's Friend, GuitarCenter.com. It's all the same place. It's all the same warehouse.
It's Musician's Friend I was thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Sweetwater.
Yeah.
All right. But you know what I'm saying? But hey, go
Sweetwater's
support
their
your local
only
shop.
lasting competition.
Man, there's a name I have not heard in a while. Musician's Friend. I feel like Alec Guinness. There is a name I have not heard in a long time.
Some of those they might have folded into the Guitar Center brand by now, but the thing is that those were all acquisitions. Music 123 and Musician's Friend were separate companies that Guitar Center swallowed up. That was Guitar Center didn't have a website worth looking at until they acquired Musician's Friend. It was their customer base and their technology that they wanted.
And they bought Music 123?
Yep.
I did not know that. Okay, that makes... When was this? Like in the 2000s?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because, yeah, all right.
Actually, if I understand it correctly, I think Musician's Friend had already acquired Music 123, and then they all got bought out by Guitar Center.
Okay. But yeah, all these local businesses, small businesses. We're doing taco over at my house. We do Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. They have a curbside pickup. They're a good, local Mexican place, family owned. Like they do everything. I mean, this far away from Mexico, calling authentic Mexican food authentic. You know what I'm saying? Is like, it can be an iffy proposition, but it's damn close. And I mean, what's it going to hurt? If you eat out once a week during this situation, and you're okay with going out, you're not going to have a panic attack and flip the fuck out or something. Then, yeah. Why go to White Castle? I mean, I love Dirty Whitey's as much as the next person, but go to a local place. Try to help them out.
Well, Guitar Center is going to be a weird one because while most of musical instrument purchasing has moved online, Guitar Center has held on to the idea of there's always going to be a certain segment of the population that will support a brick and mortar store because people like to come in and put their hands on the instruments, which is going to probably change to a considerable degree how much people want to come in and put their hands all over something that somebody else has put their hands all over.
Oh.
So I don't know if there's going to be a solid brick and mortar store. I mean, they might have, they'll probably have like a New York and an LA store. Something like that.
You're talking about a segment of a subculture, guitar players.
No, I'm not.
Who? Well, hold on a sec. Hold on.
I'm talking about Guitar Center shoppers, not guitar players.
Okay, but hold on a sec.
It's a different demographic.
Hold on. Okay, musicians then, who have, through just pure, this is the way we like it, kept completely obsolete forms of technology around for decades now.
Nope. I'm talking about Guitar Center's customer base, which I used to work for them. I'm very familiar with this customer base. It's students who don't know shit and mothers and grandmothers. That's their true customer base. And that I'm not talking about the real musicians.
Well, no, because the real music, we're at the independent places. And quite honestly, the only time I went to Guitar Center was for strings, because you had a goddamn good deal on them. But get 10 sets of strings for like one.
Yeah. So the mother or grandmother or the
look, whether it's Guitar Center or a music store, period, what I'm getting at is musicians are resistant to change. That's why we still have
That's true.
fucking vacuum tube amps.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not talking about they're fucking...
Hey,
they're
but then if that's what you're talking about, then you changed the subject. Because...
Yeah, okay, no, I misspoke. Is that allowed, or am I an asshole because I fucked up?
No, you got to get off the podcast.
Okay, well, I'll make a note of that. I just canceled myself. There you go. That's how quick that happens. Oh, my bad. I misspoke. But and please, I'm not. This is. I'm not the only one who feels this way. If I'm buying a vintage instrument and I'm gonna hand over vintage instrument prices, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're letting me play that motherfucker before I hand you that 5-figure check. That's all there is to it. I don't give a shit.
How do you try out a guitar in gloves?
And how do you try, like, ordering online, unless you're ordering literally just like off the fucking production line, there's hardly any difference between them instruments. How do you order an instrument online without
It actually works out quite well because you have a liberal return policy.
So yeah, just send it back.
And you have time to actually sit and play with it in your own home with your own amp and your own setup, record a song with it, record a whole album with it, and then send it all back.
Yeah. Without the asshole employee lording over you, feeling like you're on a fucking timer for trying out this instrument.
Yeah, and even if somebody did put their hands on that thing at some point, well, it spent 72 hours shipping here, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, if it's got something that survives 72 hours of shipping, it ain't coronavirus, and you're fucked.
No, Rich, I understand where you're coming from because I heard hundreds of people make this argument inside of Guitar Center when I worked for the company, and the rest of us are like, all right, if that's what you really believe, but you're basing future performance based on the history of actions of your customers when your customers are changing and their behavior is also changing and you're not changing with it. That's what's happening to Guitar Center.
Well, Guitar Center's done a lot that they never used to do. I mean, what was it, like a decade ago they started bringing in luthiers to the shops. They started offering lessons. That shit, when the first time I walked into Guitar Center, there was no lessons. There was no guitar tech on staff. And to be brutally honest, if you didn't know what you were looking for, it was a 50-50 chance whether they were going to send you out of that place with what you needed or what you didn't need. Because it wasn't as knowledgeable as you'd think it would be. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, they were knowledgeable on profit margins.
Yeah, it's yes. I walk in with.
Why does the guy keep telling me that I shouldn't buy electro-harmonics pedals? Oh, when I saw the cost on them, I figured it out. They only make like $10-15. Buy the Boss.
Yeah, no,
you should definitely buy the Boss pedal.
I worked there for 2 pay cycles, and it wasn't for me. It was at the end of 2002. It's back when what you were still talking about, Aaron. It was just It also taught me I wasn't a salesperson.
Yeah,
the experience I had. I did this thing called trying to sell people what they needed, and I was looked down upon.
What are you doing? Well, they walked in here and they asked for this specifically, so I'm selling this specifically. Yeah, but you could have got them to buy this.
No,
but they didn't want that.
I'm sure I've told the story to Aaron a million times. It was Christmas. It was a working class couple. They came in. It was like a couple days before Christmas. They were like, our son wants to learn how to play guitar. You could tell they didn't have much money. They're like, we're on a budget. He wants to learn. I tried to sell them one of those Fender. If Fender had just started selling those kits, right, where they had the Squire and the bag.
Oh, the Squire packs.
Yeah, they had just started selling those. I was like, here. Because I'm like, at the time, I'm like 22, 23. I'm only maybe like 8 or 9 years into playing myself. I'm like, here, this is all he's going to need for like the first year. If he likes it, you go from here. If he tries it and it's not for him, you're not out that much. And then that fucking head of the department swoops in and starts trying to sell him a fucking half stack and a fucking Les Paul. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me.
So your son's a beginner? Yeah. Okay, we got a 1959.
Yeah, you're trying to sell him
Marshall reissue
$3,000
right here.
First of all, you're trying to sell them $3,000 worth of shit. Nothing about these people says they have $3,000. All right, you could just tell by looking at them like they were working class folks. All right, if they were getting some of $3,000, we're getting them approved for the credit plan. All right, if these people don't, I know. I trust me. It's 20 years later. I still remember it, and I still feel the slimy pit in my stomach talking about it. Like, just that's how. Okay, not for me.
So, Guitar Center will survive because they'll move to an online model or something like that.
Well, yeah, they'll still have online business. The brick and mortar part of their store will probably decline, as it has been.
Now, my question is, what about the local shops, like the local music shops? Are they going to? I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be a attrition level that we're going to lose a certain amount no matter what. Same like with comic book shops or local hobby shops. It just, they all can't survive it.
Well, this is now.
There's just no way.
Now, this goes into, you got to take a lesson from the big boys right here. If you don't have an online presence and you're one of these smaller shops, you're not going to survive. All right. I recently got back into the radio business. This is a mistake that I've just seen coming back into the game 20 years later. I'm like, this is a mistake you've made. You have to embrace online. It's got to be, whether it's you are a company of one, it's you and you work in your storefront open to close every day, or whether you're a company of 1 million and you got, like, if you don't have a strong online presence in 2020, you're fucking done. See ya. Whether you're anything, band, shop, so that's how I think that's the key to survival. If you are these smaller shops, you better have.
Yeah, and we'll probably see like more things like what's happening in the comic industry is you have, I think it's called Comics Hub, is a service that will basically be, it's kind of, they're going to be like eBay for your comic books, but you use it as your storefront.
Yeah.
Right. So I call my local comic book shop and set up an account with them, and now I can go online to Comics Hub and order my comics right from there. I can manage my list. I can cancel stuff without having to talk to anybody. And I can even pay for my stuff and have it shipped to me if I don't want to come into the store. But I'm still supporting my local comic book store.
You need to look at the digital space as another way to deliver your product rather than competition.
I don't know that there's a solution like that for musical instruments, because you already have Craigslist, eBay, what's the big other like music instrument specific used website? Reverb, thank you. You know, these are already well established because the music industry, the musical instrument industry, didn't do anything on its own. Mm-hmm. You know, Comics Hub was from people who ran and owned comic book stores and loved them and wanted them to survive. Whereas musical instrument sellers looked at the internet like, I don't even get it, and was like, well, people can't play guitar over the web, so why am I even concerned about that?
See, the thing that I didn't take into consideration is how forgiving the return policies are nowadays compared to when I was younger. And like ordering on, and I was still collecting my first real gear. Like online ordering was like, that's something that like we don't have it, and it's sitting in San Antonio. Well, then fuck it. I gotta go get it online. I gotta order it and have them ship it up here, and it's gonna be 6 to 10 days or whatever. You know, there was no Amazon type shit.
Yeah.
So that's where the mistake in my thinking comes from. I don't know, man.
No, I get it.
If I'm buying a 59 Les Paul, an original, I want that motherfucker inspected and checked out by an independent person before I hand that check over. I'm
Rich,
just saying.
if you're buying a 59 Les Paul, you better get your ass on a fucking plane. Or your own private jet if you actually can afford to buy a 59 Les Paul.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I've had the money to do this, and I've been to Elderly Instruments. I could have walked out with 3 early 60 Strats at one point. And I was like, only 20 grand, huh? But still, you better pull that down if I'm going to hand you 20 grand, because I'm going to play that fucking thing.
Most expensive instrument I ever played. Oh, I played a Les Paul that I don't know what it actually sold for. I know we paid, I think it was 100. It was over 100,000 for it. It was a 5960, like in between year, Heritage made, that was like a complete closet classic. Like, this thing was hardly played at all. It was in like mint condition. And besides that, when I went to the Guitar Center out in Hollywood, I played a Martin. I can't remember what size it was. It was a really old one, and it was like $35,000. I'm like, I can't imagine paying this amount for anything really, other than a place to live.
I've never understood the appeal of expensive instruments.
That Martin felt and sounded amazing.
If I paid over $1,000 for anything, I'd be afraid to play it.
Yeah.
At that point, over $1,000, it just says something about me. To me, that's an investment. It's over $1,000. This is something that's going to appreciate in value.
No, I'm the guy who...
Instrument-wise, anyway.
I've almost never purchased my instruments new, and the rare times where I have, you got to put a nick in it right away and just get it out of the way. Just go ahead and just take the butt of it, nudge your amp, and go, okay, there it is. Moving on.
All right, so anything else, or is that it for the week, gentlemen?
I think that's it for the week.
We never did talk about that Post Malone concert. We can get to that probably next week.
Oh, no. We didn't get a chance to talk about Post Malone? Damn it.
I thought we did. I honestly thought we did, because I said, I don't know who the fuck he is besides he does cover songs.
It was on the docket, and we never got to it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I was just surprised at wow, this is... I have no idea who he is otherwise. This is actually decent. But anyway, maybe for another time. So this is where I just remind you the social media is Twitter, Unregimented Pod. Instagram at Unregimented. Unregimented at ChristopherMedia.net is the email address. Go to ChristopherMedia.net, hit the PayPal button if you want to throw us a couple bucks. Hit the Amazon banner if you want to help us out and not spend any extra money, which that's probably the route to go right now. You're using Amazon, and every penny counts, so that's how you help. And then Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, Spreaker.com, Stitcher, ChristopherMedia.net. Anywhere you listen to a podcast, that's where we're at. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Later, guys.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.